Accurate.
Hello, and welcome to Jarviskjir Horn of Plenty. Just officially, this session is starting off as a Wednesday shit show session. Often this has to be earned, but we're missing Doxy because she's prepping for Thanksgiving. We morally don't believe in Thanksgiving. So...
On ethical grounds.
On ethical grounds, we have denied. And Neil's camera is completely... It's not as bad as it was. But...
It was...
It might just get... It might just get eaten up by Twitch.
It's like what you
It's
like.
nothing to do with that. I don't know.
No, but like people won't notice.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's not going to be as bad for them.
You know those little flip books that you can flip through, and it's like it's for pictures. It's like that, but with some of the pages missing. So you just see him jolt from one position to the next.
He's just... It's enter the Neilverse. There's his low frame rate. Yeah, it doesn't seem that bad. And Dean's just...
Dean's shoving his face with greasy meat without the most...
Poor Dean.
Opponent to greasy meat.
I have to make fun of everyone. Aside from myself. I am without flaw. Aside from no imagination or creativity or talent. Speaking of...
Back between like the beginning of that joke and cracking it. It's like...
I know, yeah.
That
wasn't a joke. That was just keep saying words. keep some degree of momentum. I don't really remember what you did last session, but I remember what your plan was at the end of the session.
We persuaded the Gnome King to let us go free, at which point he left and agreed with us. However, he decided he wouldn't act on the matter because Grumple Foreskin might have his fingers in too many pies in the town, and he didn't want to start a gnome civil war. So he left, and we got the recipe for growing our own little mine pancakes,
gnome food,
and we also decided that we discovered that this corruption resurrects people, and whatever those other humans are, Balara and Richter, encountered a Minotaur in the woods who they beat down that was undead, and we discovered that. So Torin has set about reinforcing the graveyard to prevent that from becoming the classic, oh yeah, let's bury all our dead here, they won't get resurrected. And for that we need a squid.
Also, Richter and his mum got attacked by an undead Minotaur, and then another
everyday issue.
And then another undead Minotaur appeared. We killed both undead Minotaurs, during which Torin nearly died, but for an alter fate. So yeah, Torin lying in a pool of his own blood, and then it's solved magically.
Yeah,
that's
right. Yes,
there's still. Potentially, there is still another undead Minotaur hanging around.
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about. Can you do basic math? When I said that there were 4 and you've only defeated 3, I'm surprised you remembered that. I thought that was going to be completely forgotten.
No.
Horny beast in Richter's mum's bedroom.
That's not canon.
It's factual.
Didn't make.
Will you leave my mum alone, fictional and otherwise?
So, as Neil says, Torin has a plan that requires a squid, a servant of Ing, the god of death.
Or not, whichever is living.
Something suitably Ingy. And using some just general knowledge, you're pretty sure that the town mine, which isn't very intense or deep, it doesn't need to be, probably connects to a natural cave system, which might have a water source with like a cave squid or something in it. You think, especially with Amaryllis, the chances of finding something like that would be quite high. So that was the the thought process there, and that's what you're prepping for, unless you have any other plans today.
The session ended. It was like night time when the session ended.
Yeah, we can swoosh to tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
That's not a matter at all.
Wait, you mean we don't have more lessons?
Richter is tending to his mum and eating Donna meat and chips.
Which are not related. She's definitely not missing her legs now.
Wow, Donna meat and chips is not canon.
My mum's name's Donna.
Oh, jeez. This is going to be a shit show. I hate that. This already is a shit show.
We've all failed our saving throws against the dark side influence.
I knew it, though! I was rolling in no expectations. And I'm like... I'm really proud of what I've prepped for the recent sessions. Really glad, but...
Richter is just making sure his mum's okay, because last night was pretty harrowing.
So by morning, Richter's at Richter's house.
Mm-hmm.
Easy peasy. Belle is off training the new scouts in the woods and things like that, getting them up early at the crack of dawn. And unlike, yesterday there was a very intense, basically blizzard, right? It's still snowing, but that's not a problem at all. This part of the world, like, okay, it's just snowing. It's not a blizzard. That's fine. The critical pass route, Cornucopia can be shoveled out and things like that. The question is, what are the other two of you doing come morn?
Torrin is recovering from having 0 hit points. So I imagine he would be in the old Leha hut.
I'm worried about that other Minotaur.
Why?
The problem is my precognition only goes up to an hour at this point. So, like... It's like very unlikely that I'd actually get a hit if I tried to use it. I would go like I would if we'd already made the Richter's dad aware of the Minotaurs as a general thing, so I would go round to him and inform him that there's only one left, but we obviously have no clue where it is. So just to keep the town on guard for it, and then I would go and help tend to Torin however I could.
Torin's achy. Torin's tired, but Torin's fine. He's just like the rest of us.
Torin tired.
What? That's okay. You don't have to be tired. But he's fit and functional well. He's like fine. Now.
Young Torin, do you think we should search out the remaining Minotaur before we pursue your quest for a being of Ing?
Well, there's no telling exactly where the Minotaur could be by now. We don't know what they follow, what they search for. It seems pretty pointless to charge around the wilderness.
I could see if the flow will bestow me an idea regarding it, but such things are whimsical and limited. This is your village. If you choose to prioritize the denizen of Ing, that is your choice.
It's not that I'm not worried about an undead minotaur. But the villagers could stop that. If there's just one, they could. But if we're talking, I mean, I don't know how far back this corruption reaches. If we're talking 10, 20, 30 villagers risen from our graveyard, we'd have to leave the village.
Amaryllis just nods at that.
Look, let's go find Ritter, and we'll see what he thinks we should do.
Nods again and slowly starts moving out of the hut towards Richter's house.
Go the long,
Like you have a choice.
slow
Sloth.
way to Richter's house, giving Dean enough time to finish his mouthful.
Have a little sip of coke to wash it down.
People in the village are fixing the hole in Richter's house. Again, Richter's house is one of the is almost a fort, and not like a grand dwarven fantasy fort. No, like a real world fort, which are just like tall stone buildings and are not fancy at all. So having it fixed up is pretty important, which means it's not the most relaxing atmosphere with the sounds of hammers and no machine guns involved.
No, that was like a worm you made. Whatever.
That was a World War
Pneumatic worm
II era airplane gun.
What you couldn't see was my cat feeding the ammo next to me.
All right. So yeah, it's you. When you go to Richter's and by extension Oscar's house, really Oscar's by extension Richter's house, there's never anyone out there. Occasionally, a strong lad up on the scout tower, but that's usually Richter. The fact that there's only 3 dudes, but the fact that there's other people working away is a bit strange. Especially clearing out the snow so that they can properly fix the building and stuff like that. There's just a din of activity. It's common everywhere now.
A dean of activity.
I was thinking the same thing.
Who would use their own joke as a name? That's just their own name as a joke.
Oh.
They're interchangeable. Dean is a joke. I'm a fucking joke. Yeah, so would you knock, guys, or would you just enter? Because Richter would be he would be like at his mum's bedside, just chilling.
Definitely knock. You don't enter a person's home without knocking.
It's a role-playing game. Just walk in.
Truly the fantasy always. And the door would be open because I don't think I've shown you the layout, but I mean, none of these houses have much in the way of separate rooms. Richter's house having a separate room for his mother is strange. So you do have to enter a main chamber, but the main chamber is open because they're fixing it.
Head down into the basement.
No.
Like a little down.
Nope.
No, there's no mum box or anything of the sort. There's just a separate side room for Richter's incredibly sick mother.
Oh no, me man box.
So you enter. You do the old knock on the open door.
Instinctively, Richter's hand goes to his spear, which is now at his side, unlike yesterday.
He has it hilted. Oh my god, that's inefficient.
No,
Richter, you very quickly notice it's them. I mean, Torin is loud. I kind of take Torin as one of those people who's loud even if he wasn't wearing armor, because I kind of imagine he's, a little heavy-footed, also kind of probably doesn't even notice he's humming to himself, that kind of thing.
I got chains. The jingle.
But you also have heavy armor. He's just a heavy walker, a loud walker, you know. So you definitely hear him coming in. You hear Amaryllis coming in because Amaryllis has to creak down into the house. So while it's usually hard to notice,
there's branches brushing the ceiling.
You hear it.
Rustle.
Begin the house smelled.
This house is gonna smell like Amaryllis, which is nice, to be fair.
Richter will just clasp his mum's hand for a moment and give her a kiss on the head, and I'll be right back. And I'll walk into the main chamber to greet the two of them. Hello?
Hey, Richter. How's she doing?
I look back, kind of sadly. Not worse. Not better.
We were thinking about what we should do next. I know you probably want to stay with your mum at a time like this, but...
Yes. However, I have more than one person to protect. I have a duty.
Yeah, exactly.
I look to Amaryllis. Have you seen anything throughout the night?
No, I have had no warnings. I could try and grasp the flow temporarily, but it would be unreliable.
Perhaps save your strength for later.
Indeed.
Torin, if we're to assume that this corruption has spread to the remains of those Minotaur, then the graveyard, I fear, is the priority for now.
Yes, I've been making some preparations. I've asked some of the older townspeople to weave us some little walls for it, which I know won't keep anything out, but it's the spirituality in this effect, and I've made a pond. If we can get one of Ing's creatures to take up inhabitants within the graveyard, then I believe it will protect the people there from the corrupting influence. It would have to be a squid or an octopus, something closely related to it. Something to make the graveyard a place of death and not undeath.
And Richter was like looking at Torin like doubtfully the whole time. Torin, I know in the past I've doubted your own abilities, and I've now seen them with my own eyes. I admit I struggle to grasp the spirituality of it all. Is this really a possibility?
Torin shifts uncomfortably on his feet, and then he looks down a little and says, "Well, all we've got is faith, Richter. If you believe something will work, it will. Have faith. Ing protects us in death."
How... If you are to do this today, are you in need of myself and Amaryllis?
The longer we leave this situation...
I'm not suggesting we postpone, I'm simply asking, who do you need?
Well, I thought perhaps the best chance would be to find a creature that lives inside one of the cave ponds inside the mine. If we could find an octopus that's been living in there for a long time.
Is an octopus a creature of death?
Ing's a kraken, you see.
I see.
Octopi are quite closely related, I believe.
I would be useful in looking through the area, and potentially I could speak with such a creature, ask it to give the village its blessings and agree to a relocation. I
That would be
believe
good.
You can talk. I'm sorry. I grin at Torrin. You can talk to octopi.
Richter, don't be rude.
I'm not being rude. I'm amazed.
I can speak with some manner of beasts, yes. I believe an octopus would be within that range. Although it does require my magic, it is not a native ability of my people.
Hmm.
It is also, while the two of you young ones would know more of this than me, the mines, I do not know if there are potentially dangerous creatures there. We do not know how far the corruption has spread. There might be need of your spear arm, young Richter.
Okay.
Or you could always carry a small quart of water in a barrel. We will need to take it back alive, obviously.
Hmm. Very well. I'll help. But Torrin, if this doesn't work, we'd have wasted a day for nothing.
Well, if it doesn't work and the corruption hits the graveyard, then we won't have to worry about how many more days we're going to be wasting.
True. Okay, I will I will inform Oscar that we're heading out. I will warn the people working on the gravesite to, well, you know.
I don't think it'll be soon. It's at the top of a hill. Nature protects it.
Hmm.
That said, if nothing else, we need to clear out the mines, make sure it's safe, so that people can go in there and start growing that gnomish bread.
I hadn't considered that. That's a very good point.
That's why I'm the bread. No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Proud Tauren smile.
Please allow me a few moments to say goodbye. I'll gesture to...
Do you want me to have a look? See if there's anything that can be done?
I'm not sure what has changed with what ails her, but I welcome help, of course.
I'll do what I can.
You can give me a medicine check.
Can I also cast an eye over her with
Yeah.
a bit more rounded knowledge, perhaps? Or I could just roll another that one or something. Either way.
Oh, it's all to play for, Ian.
Get wrecked, Ian.
Not both rolled eights.
It's not one of my better stats.
This is a good opportunity to actually explain what is wrong with Richter's mother, who, if I remember correctly, is called Sophie. Torn, for as long as you can remember, she's been injured. She's been unwell. She's unwell because she was injured. She was a warrior like Oscar. But during just defending the village, the details are not exact. Not something Oscar likes to talk about. She was injured in such a way to essentially render her in basically a coma. Now, you, as a human of the 2019, could probably figure out it's like some kind of very, like, horrible infection and something, but well, actually, as the medical professional, you know way better than me what bullshit I'm weaving around. But in a world like this, without powerful magic, there's very little that can be done for her. But she is not worse. That being said,
I just remembered I prepared that.
She's not diseased anymore.
That's interesting to know.
It's like whatever ailed her when it comes to disease went through her and just she's immune to it now, but it rendered her unable to awake from the injuries that befalled her. And it's kind of hard to tell that she was a warrior or even that she's injured because she's just this little woman now, right? In a bed. There's no scarring or anything like that. So she's not diseased, not anymore. She's just needs to be awakened from this. There may be healing spells that Torin may get in the future that might be able to do this. Right now...
Yeah, I got one guiding bolt.
Guiding
out of
bolt.
misery.
Guiding bolt. Guiding
Guide her
bolt.
to heaven.
Jesus.
She's one with the spirits now.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing that can be done right now other than making her comfortable. Which Torin would know, but probably not say. She probably can't feel or experience anything right now. Anyway.
Well, I'll look at you kind of knowing the answer, but I ask anyway.
Well, she's miraculously not dead, even though she hasn't eaten in years. No,
That's not true.
no.
Like, Richter and Oscar, feed her.
Oh, okay. So she's awake enough.
And well, it's like milk and runny porridge and things like that. Like, it's not good, but she's alive.
Okay, cool. Well, she's no worse for a trip through a blizzard.
Whatever disease ailed her, it is now long gone. It only needs her to awaken, although that is easier said than done. It is powerful magics that would be needed.
Thank you both.
Sorry, I couldn't do anything.
That's quite all right. Mama, I'll be home soon. I'll just stroke her hand and pat it, and then walk out, grabbing my spear and shield.
Get equipped.
Okay,
Dun, 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 dun.
let's go. No need to
To the
waste time.
mine?
To the mine.
Okay.
We need to stop off and get some container and fill it with water.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Apologies.
actually, we don't need to fill it with water because presumably whatever this creature is will be in more than a thimble of water.
You can get, a spare basket or something and strap it to Amaryllis's back for now because she's not really going to be in intense combat.
Well, we hope she's not going to be in intense combat.
And it's a waterproof basket, yeah.
No. I mean, you'd get the most waterproof one you have.
It can hold water long enough to transport something.
Yes.
Cool.
Exactly. And head to the mine. I don't think it's been explicitly described properly before. But I mean, I mentioned it a bit before last time. Your village isn't that close to the mountain side. It's a bit of a walk past the hill and the graveyard to where the mine resides. It's hard to tell if this happened during the attack of the dragon or before. None of you were miners. Well, you were all minors at some point. But aside from maybe Amaryllis. But rock slides and landslides this close to the mountains are very common. The mine entrance is, barricaded slightly by very simple, like, stone and wooden walls. But you could say it's showing the wear and tear of time, but it's just wear and tear of not being very well made. The snow around it is coated in mud, and the entrance inside is wet and muddy. Of a little bit of more melted snow, little chunks of stone and rock, and it just extends down into darkness. There's a little, to give you a little extra, there's a little kind of like wooden store space beside it. It's sheltered from the wind, not so much the rain, but there's like a torch sconce there that I imagine you light when you get there. Just to give you a little bit of warmth.
I am going to spend the 10 minutes to ritual cast Detect Poison and Disease again to give us some warning if there's corruption in the mines. Because it stays up for 10 minutes, so...
It does.
Well, it's going to get real dark in there.
As much as I do not like torches, they will be necessary here.
Never
And
thought of that.
More than one in case something takes us by surprise.
Had I thought ahead, I would have brought a lantern. Oh well.
Not like a naked flame has any detriments in a mine.
I don't think you'd even know that, because this is a copper mine.
I know.
That is a non-canon joke.
No, it's just space is underground.
I
Yeah, it's a
know.
Legends joke.
Yeah. Alright. So who's going to take a torch?
I'll head up with a torch, I guess.
Okay.
I should, as much as Amaryllis would dislike it, she should probably take a torch, as she's also least likely to be involved in that.
Remember, a torch is one-handed, so...
Yep, I am aware.
You're free
Couple
with
of
the other
bells.
It wouldn't be the first time that Amaryllis has done nothing in a combat, so...
hand. I don't know what you're talking about. When you kind of... inside with the torch. We've been describing this like a mine, right? And I think in D&D, it's very easy to imagine this grand mine shaft that goes into... or it's really just like...
It goes like into the side. It's not.
This
like
is just a muddy hole in the stone wall that has been chiseled away at. It does go quite a ways in, and immediately to one side you can see another wooden store space aside from this inside, which does protect from the elements, and there's actually still some containers there. Occasionally your torchlight captures a brief glimpse of copper in the wall, but usually in places where it'd be really awkward to mine, so instead people have gone deeper still. Kind of the light doesn't travel around the corners, and you start trekking inside. You're not even like past the entrance. You can still there's still snow blowing outside, and you can still see the light from outside when Amaryllis, your detect poison disease goes off. I don't know how this happens. I don't know what experience you have as it happens, but you do sense poisonous creatures heading towards you.
Okay, is it like, because I've seen diseased and poisoned by the corruption, is this the same type
No.
of thing or different?
Okay, so what it would probably be Amris would probably stop for a moment and almost look like she's sniffing at the air as the flowers sort of opening and closing. There is a foul scent on the air. Poisonous beasts approach. Not of the corruption, but things that are already here. Should prepare yourselves.
By the time Amaryllis is finished saying that, because she can only see things 30 feet away. Like, you don't have... This is not a benefit. This is a benefit of you not getting surprised or anything. From... most of the mine so far is like muddy and stony, or mud and dirt and earth over stone. From deeper in, it becomes much more like a cavern, much more stone, and you can see crawling on the walls and through the mud with great speed these large centipedes, squirming, moving swiftly towards you for one reason or another, each one the size of... They're small size. I don't know how best to describe a giant centipede, but that's fine.
Arm? Size of a leg?
Size of an arm is a good bet. Size of an arm is a good one. Alright. You better believe you can fight some centipede. Go ahead and give me an initiative.
I can smell dog shit. Someone has pooped. Oh, god damn it.
I cannot see the light generated by that.
I know.
Cannot
I
see the light.
realized.
I suppose it's fitting that I'd be the quickest of the three of us.
Is it?
Yeah.
We're both looking at you like, what are you saying?
What are you saying?
I'm
just like, oh,
And then you see, glinted by the red torchlight on their slimy chitinous coating, giant centipedes rushing up. It's hard not to say centipedal, but I will resist.
I mean, they are centipedal, right?
Yes, from a certain point of view.
Oh my god, those are quick centipede.
Can all of you give me nature checks real quick? Amaryllis is gonna have an easy DC. I'm not gonna give advantage.
I'm gonna roll our nature checks and find out that they're actually so venomous they'll kill you in a single bite.
Amaryllis, as you see them rushing and moving quickly, the immediate thought through your mind is creatures like this run from light, not too light. But regardless, they move swift. This one kind of gets caught up in Richter's boots, and yeah. First of all, you feel the many tiny. I mean, on a creature this big, you can feel each of the legs like little needles digging into the leather of your boots. But once it gets higher, it does bite and it does hit you. Can you give me a Constitution save, please? Great.
Bit you in the dick.
I started this session like, I'm not going to need a D4. Guess which dice I need right now. And I don't know where my dice bag is. Oh, no.
You're now unconscious.
Oh, fuck.
My leg immediately drops off.
No. It did bite you in the leg. Bit you somewhere else.
The rock got it.
Well, there goes Richter repopulating the village.
God damn.
Either that or he just caught the same disease that put his mum in a coma.
What the hell?
By disease, it's like a common cold. You know? She did not get like some horrible rare thing. She just got like an infection from a wound. Which I know is not how the common cold works. But you know what? Fuck you. 5 piercing damage from the actual bite, and immediately, you know, the thing like bites and tears a chunk out of your trousers, and you can see the flesh immediately turn.
Sorry. Sorry.
That's you dying.
That
That's
was
you
the
creaking
flesh.
and the
That was
bone.
the flesh
The
turning.
flesh turning just blackened with necrosis.
Ooh.
As you take 10 poison damage.
Jesus Christ. Well, I'm not going near those.
That could one hit. I'll put it this way: those could very nearly insta kill me with the massive damage rules.
Well, you're gonna find out about that now.
Luckily, I don't use massive damage rules.
I know you don't use the rules. It could very nearly do it if you were using them.
As Ian was saying that, I first looked at Ollie's face, who was determined, and then I looked at Roll20 and centipedes were just gliding towards him. God damn, that was funny.
Amaryllis, almost before, like, in Amaryllis's mind, you finished his thought process, and it's right up to you, right? In the slow mind of Amaryllis.
I could die.
Looking at these and knowing that they would normally retreat from light, do they seem to be fleeing something?
That would be your assumption, yes.
That would be my assumption. Okay.
You can tell on their faces they've got their two little eyes and they're not happy.
Bugged out.
They've got that cursed emoji with the big eyes.
Yeah. Amaryllis will sort of, as she's going to cast Bless on the on all three of us. Because
That's a good idea.
Very useful. And is then going to call out, I believe they are fleeing something that is further in. Be aware. No idea what it is. So I'm just going to keep it and take a bit of a defensive stance with a dagger and a torch.
They're fleeing from corporation tax.
Yeah.
Wow, they all got little prime symbols on their side.
Way.
Torin. Now
Torin
I'm just imagining he's being that guy who, who's like on all fours but in an Amazon Prime box, so it's just a smile, crawling up to you and biting you. Gross.
Cursed. Torin's gonna put a hand on Richter's shoulder and steady him and say, "You're all right, don't worry." And a faint purple glow will emanate from behind Richter.
Breeze of air into the cave.
And he viscerally farts all over the boy.
Ooh.
And you heal for...
Just a blessing of the wind, lad.
You heal for 12 damage.
Wow, that's essentially a max second win. Thank you.
Yeah, but that's essentially back to full. So something you would not, because I imagine, Richter is a fighter mechanically and canonically. Usually you wouldn't get distracted by wounds, but looking down and seeing the flesh turn black and lose sensation in it would be staggering. But you probably wouldn't even necessarily hear Torin, that wouldn't be your focus. But when you feel the hand on your shoulder, that recedes almost completely. And now it's your turn, I think. Unless Torin's going to move to action.
I'm considering it, but if they're fleeing, I don't really want to block their way out.
Well, they seem more than ready to attack you to make their way out easier.
Yeah, but if I move, I'm totally blocking.
If you move, you are blocking the way
Yeah.
even more from a certain point of view.
I think he'll just Frodo it and tell Amaryllis to get off the road.
Frodo it.
Wictor.
Off the road.
I just realised
Well-
we have half Dean on this battle map. And half Neil. Oh, everyone is entirely fucked on this battle map camera. I'll
That's
fix
fine.
that during your turn.
Half a Neil's worth twice a Dean.
You know what they say? 2 in the Dean's worth 1 in the Neil. What does that mean? Decide amongst yourselves.
I won't move out the way. I'll just strike at it with my spear.
Bah! Oh no, I made it even worse. That's definitely a hit against a giant centipede. Yeah, the thing is just like down and
Get it from
crunch.
the ass.
Yeah, a long ways. Gross, but also makes sense and is immediately just crunches up. Dangerous poison, incredibly weak.
I'm pretty sure that this is literally the same monster I was facing in my campaign yesterday. That isn't the first time this has happened. Like, it's weird coincidences. You throw the same monster that the Tuesday game does, and vice versa.
Turns out I'm also the DM on your Tuesday game. Who knew?
Yeah, what you don't see on the other side of his cam is all those bodysuits he's got. He's like, well, who we're in today? Like, zips down the face.
You wouldn't know. I'm so good at role playing. Blend into the role.
I'm going to go ahead
method
and
acting.
push past Torrin if you're okay with that, Torrin. Tough. And end my turn there.
Oh, I don't want to
my.
block the way. And Rich is like, go through me, bitch.
It's just like, ah!
Amaryllis, what's your armor class?
13.
They miss.
Yes.
you
One
sentinel.
just starts like lurching at you and in part Richter, but doesn't hit. But Richter gets to attack it. Yes?
Oh!
Please. Yeah, as it kind of opens up. I mean, it's not. To say opens up its defenses. It's a giant centipede. It's not like it's. That's thought process.
Like, top
But
of its head opens.
And this weak spot appears for massive damage. A big giant eye because it's
Glows.
a Zelda monster.
Yeah.
You just easily crunch it. You can even crunch it with the blunt end of the spear if you want to be extra gross. And these are so big. These are bugs so big that they when you kill them. Yeah. You ever killed a bug IRL that large? It's not this large, but large enough to squeak on death. It is traumatizing.
I've not. I do have some bug trauma to share at some point, though.
Oh, yeah, Richter would have dropped the torch. Because he's attacking... No, he's attacking one-handed with spear.
No, I have a sword and shield.
Drop the torch. You have control of this torch, by the way, because it was your torch. So you could have moved that.
Thank you.
If you wanted to.
Okay. Just making sure I can.
Control
Phantom
yourself.
torch.
Corin, what's your armor class? 18.
Twisted
I know
fire
that.
starter. Twisted
Thanks for
fire starter.
Thanks for doing that.
It's 18, right? It's not
It is,
20
you're
right
right.
now.
It's not 20 now. I don't ever hit 20 because I don't.
That's right.
That's tell. That's the old tell trick.
Well, a lot of other people have 20 AC, you know.
Excuse me? Yeah, 21.
It does hit. Can you give me a Constitution save? You do have Bless.
I
just
just
got
got
a-
a hell of a constitution
I just
save.
got a D4 out and I've immediately lost it.
Bam! Thanks for the bless.
Just get another one out. By the end of the night, you've got like 40
I
seconds.
have already lost so many D4s in my
That
life.
is really dangerous business because D4s are by far the most painful ones to stand on.
I don't believe these lies. Just get stronger feet, nerds.
What? I want video proof of Ollie just walking on a bunch of D4s. Not like I don't need face cam as well, so like he doesn't even win.
I have a lot of D4s with very blunt ends. This one I'm using as an example doesn't, but the other ones.
I now have the idea of like D&D players, instead of walking on hot coals, they just walk on D4s.
That is a meme I have heard before.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
While this is one of those things you're kind of trying to shield a giant bug, and it really is an awkward experience. It kind of jumps up basically onto your hand and bites into you through your gloves. It ends up doing 6 piercing damage, but the poison does not take.
It
Amaryllis.
hit me in my Achilles wrist.
Amaryllis.
Also known as your wrist.
Amaryllis is going to move down and back a bit. I'm not going to attack. I'm just going to keep my eyes trained on further down the passage. See if I see anything.
You can give me a perception check.
Perception.
Which is always a worrying option. Oh, I'd like to cast Perception. You hear that? Whatever that is.
That
It's a
chills you
banshee.
to the bone.
Torin, please.
Torin's gonna mace this guy. I hope you're ready for that
Comedy.
joke to be repeated. Endless.
I'm pretty sure that's not the first time I've been told that joke before as well. That is a
It's
miss.
not gonna be the last. God damn it!
Thump, into the mud and stone.
I should have just slapped him.
Victor.
Shoo!
Rector, okay. I
Victor here. Going.
ooh. No, I'm saving it. I'm gonna step up and just spear it.
Yeah, it's about time you stepped up.
It's not like he's single-handedly destroyed all of these. That's a hit. And a kill. Yeah. With that, you glance in, and Amaryllis, you can still see more insects coming this way, but none of them that large. Most of them tunnel into the mud when they get from the stone. Clearly fleeing from something, but we'll worry about that after a
Find
break.
a Norman Reedus Minotaur with an octopus in like a baby jar around his chest.
I would never, ever steal ideas from other media. That would be not a thing I do.
And like he's so strong, just when he's about to kill us, he has to take an entire turn to like quiet the baby octopus.